Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And the third movie that I'm reviewing tonight, one that I just watched this afternoon, is the new Wrong Turn. So, Wrong Turn 2021 is what I'm going to call the movie. This is a reboot of the um, body horror, almost slasher that you want to call it, movie. Funny thing about Wrong Turn, I did like the first one. I haven't watched any of the others. I mean, I did watch bits of part two and part three. It just kind of put me off. Um, you know, that kind of horror doesn't really appeal to me too much. But I did enjoy the first one. I remember even I recommended the Wrong Turn series movies to a friend of mine. He says, "I want to watch horror movies." This was quite a few years ago, and he asked me, "Can you recommend me some movies?" And I gave him a list, and I think he was trying to watch Wrong Turn along with his family. So he was telling me this is, I think, before his kids were born. His dad, his mom, and his wife, they were all sitting together, and one by one they all left the television series. They left the television room because they were getting disgusted. And then he called me and said, "What kind of a movie have you recommended me to watch, man? What kind of a crap movie is this?" But I don't remember which one it was that he was trying to watch. Maybe it was two or three. I did actually happen to like the first one quite a bit, so decided to watch this one. Just like at the whim. I was curious to know what they were going to do differently, and to be honest, it worked. So this time around, there are these six people, um, you know, who are going to the woods. They say they're going on a hike in the what area is it? It's in Virginia, the Appalachian Trail. They are warned by localites not to go off the trail. However, you know, kids. Well, these are not really kids per se, but young adults. They do go off the trail a little bit, and they get killed one by one. So there's a rolling tree trunk that actually falls. They get the feeling that somebody is watching them, and it falls and kills one of them. Who is the Indian guy? Of course, they had to kill the Indian guy first, right? Now they don't kill the black guy first; they kill the Indian guy first. An Indian actor by the name of Vardhan Arora. I have no clue if this guy was actually born in Delhi, and he went to um, New York to study, and then he's in this movie. So he plays one of the gay guys in the movie, the gay couple. Um, and then slowly the five of them try to get their way away, but they are they come across, one of them gets captured by two people when he's out in the woods, and they try to bring him. They're dressed in some kind of an outfit, and they've got these deer and some other kind of creatures, antlers, skull head kept on this thing, and they bring him to them. He attacks them when they're let free by, because their friends, his friends come and demand that he be let free, and he kills one of them, and then slowly things start getting worse. Um, so one of the ladies, she falls into this pit and is impaled on a sphere kind of thing, and then she is killed by one of these villagers. They seem to be part of a cult that has formed since 1890s, very late 1800s. So they kill her. He kills this lady with a bow and arrow. She's anyway as good as dead while she's lying in the pit. And then the other five are captured. They're taken to this group. They call themselves the Foundation. And do they have the explanation over here? Well, basically, they're a cult who they yeah. So they call the Foundation because they believe the end of the United States was near. This is 1859, sorry, and they decided that they wanted to preserve the way of life at that time, and then they went up to the mountains and have kept to themselves for the most part. They only come down to the town to sell a few things and get some supplies, and then they go back and they live mostly in a community kind of thing. And so they have their own laws. In fact, even they even speak. When they were speaking, they didn't have like American accents. Some of them were speaking some other language. I'm not really sure which one, but sounded more like like Swedish or Norwegian, and then they take the five people, and so the remaining of them, and remaining four, um, because you already have two of them dead, and the guy who killed the one of the villagers, one of the foundation team members, he is judged to have committed a crime, and he is killed. The other three are supposed to be tossed into a pit where they're going to be blinded. It's like it leads off into a cave, and one of them, who is the gay Indian guy's lover, he is blinded and then centered it. But then the other two manage to, say that they have things that they can contribute to their society. So this girl, what's her name in this movie? Jen, played by Charlotte Vega. She says, "Them surely, both of us are in our prime of health, so we can definitely contribute as members of your society." And she says, "If does anybody have a need for a wife?" As well as her boyfriend, played by Aidan Bradley, whose name is Darius. He can hunt. He is a sportsman, so he's an athlete. So definitely he can be a good warrior for them. And so the head leader, he basically takes. I think he's a man in his 40s. He takes the young lady as his wife, and Darius becomes part of the menfolk. They are trained on weaponry, especially bow and arrow. And several weeks pass. During this time, Jen's father has been played by Matthew Modine, who was very surprised to see. He's been trying to find her. He goes to the town. He's met with hostile gazes. He's even beaten up at one point, and then he comes in. He is captured by them, and they make Jen shoot him with an arrow, but at the same time, she's actually only pretending. So she tries to escape off with him, and some of the town folk. They actually come in. They think that they're going to kill him, but kill them. But the thing is, they know that if you go off the trail, you'll run into these folks, and then it's very difficult. So they actually help them to escape. The end of the movie sees Jen getting back to her life with her family, with her father and stepmother and her stepbrothers. However, when she comes back home, one day she sees that the leader, his name is Venable. And there's a small young girl who helped her. He brings her, and he says he's there to meet her father, pretending this to the mother and the brothers. And he's brought the daughter along, pretending to be new neighbors. But he's got a couple of other people from the foundation also waiting outside in an RV. And while the rest of them are away, he convinces Jen to go with her quietly, and he would spare the rest of their lives. They go into the van. However, you see the van going by, and it starts swerving and then crashes into a car. Jen manages to kill all the three men and takes the girl, and then goes back to her home. And that's how the movie ends. Surprisingly, very different kind of ending. Jen definitely becomes the survivor. I am surprised if they would stop at this particular movie and not continue on with a reboot series as such, because this is pretty different from the Wrong Turn movies that we have seen, and it does look like it's pretty interesting, with this foundation group. At one point in time, it comes across like they are saying that they didn't actually mean to hurt these young people, but in return they were killed. And I found it a little bit of hard to actually for anyone to grasp that. But at the same time, you are your hands are bound, and you are held at bow point, arrow point with all these people. So you kind of have to agree for those people, right? So I found that part to be a little difficult to actually take in. But the movie has a pretty good reception, and rightly so. I'm actually quite surprised by it. I actually will give this a 7.5 out of 10. It was supposed to be released in 2020, but because of the pandemic, it was pushed, and then finally it was released just for one night in the theaters in January 2021 and then released onto Blu-ray and DVD. Yeah, I would give this a 7.5. Pretty interesting, slightly different take on the kind of cult members in the mountains, and instead of the rather gross body horror where you have people becoming cannibals and stuff and all that stuff. I mean, it's kind of like lame as and done for the several times. I found this to be pretty interesting, so I think it's enjoyable. And if they want to make a couple of more movies in this series, I don't know. Nothing actually comes up, but I wish they could. Anyway, that's it for my review for Wrong Turn 2021. Excuse me. Have a good night.